All content here on patreon.com/the Derrick Lamon Experience is produced, recorded, and edited by Derrick Lamon Jackson, me. Welcome back, patreon.com/the Derrick Lamon Experience, your one-stop shop for your gaming news. This is The Last Word with Derrick Lamon. This show airs in early access on Sunday afternoons at 2 p.m. here on patreon.com/the Derrick Lamon Experience. If you are listening to this on the free feeds, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, etc., go ahead and hit that link in the episode details. I've put the socials in the episode details so you guys know where to find me. And jump on over here to the Patreon. I have exclusive audio and video content as well as other things. Also, Pause Menu Society, Instagram, and TikTok down there as well. Go ahead and hit that up. That's the team I represent. We do weekly podcasts. We just wrapped up our Euphoria recaps we did every single episode of Euphoria this season along with our standard weekly episode. And we're going to be tackling Power Raising Canaan, the final season of that as well coming up. So go ahead and hit that subscribe and follow over there as well. So today, as you noticed, I said your one-stop shop for gaming news. I do talk about gaming a lot. Most of the Patreon is somewhat gaming-centric, and that's what it started as, essentially. But the reason we're talking about gaming today is because PlayStation State of Play was yesterday. I'm recording this on Wednesday. The State of Play was on Tuesday. There were some leaks about a month and a half ago about the next God of War game would be where you play as Faye instead of Kratos or Atreus, which a lot of people thought would happen. A lot of people, like, the leaks were spot on. When I saw one thing in the leak, I was like, this is crazy. Is this real? You would have somebody accompany you like Mimir accompanied Atreus and Kratos, but it would be a gelatinous cube. When the cube showed up in the trailer, I was like, holy shit. So everything in those leaks were real. But that's not going to stop me from playing the game. Do I think it's a weird character? Sure. I'm still going to play this game because I like God of War. End of the story. Capiche? Got it. Cool. A lot of people have been coming out dissing this game. Mom of War, God of Woe, etc., etc. It seems like the Neckbeard Brigade is out in full force. I expected this because we heard this when the leaks came out. Like, nobody wants to play as Faye. This is fucking stupid, etc., etc. But it's like, if you love video games, who cares if the protagonist is male or female? Um, I think there's too many guys who just are very insecure. They're not secure enough in their masculinity or themselves as men to play as a female character. So I don't know. That's their hang up. But the one person that came out about this, I'm not really that surprised, but every time he says something, I'm just like, I don't get it. Uh, Are you just a little bitter because you're no longer involved with the franchise? I don't know. So anyway, this comes from Dextero.com. God of War creator slams, quote, dull LaFay reveal, claiming this is not God of War. All right. God of War creator David Jaffe has slammed the newly revealed series entry God of War LaFay, saying the game looks uninspired and predicting it won't meet Sony's sales expectations. Sony Santa Monica gave fans their first extended look at God of War LaFay during PlayStation State of Play showcase on June 2nd, revealing around 20 minutes of gameplay and story details centered on Kratos' wife, Faye. Said after her death, the game follows Faye as she awakens in the Every Win after an afterlife realm where gods from different mythologies battle for power. So far, the response to the new game has been mixed from fans, but one person who really didn't like it was God of War series creator David Jaffe. Speaking during a live stream reaction to the State of Play presentation, Jaffe said, quote, I think it looks so uninspired and it looks so dull, and you guys have to remember that this is the opening of the game, probably. Even when further claiming, quote, it's dead, that game is not going to do well for what they expected to do. Jaffe argued that previous God of War games succeeded because they had clear hooks for players, pointing to Kratos, Greek mythology, and the series' brutal violence. While he praised Cory Barlog's reinvention of the franchise in 2018, he suggested the formula has now run out of momentum. God of War, the originals, had their hooks, right? It was Kratos is a badass, Greek mythology, violence, etc., and then it wore out its welcome. Corey came along with the brilliant idea of evolving it, and that was awesome for 2018. I love that game. Then you get Ragnarok, which felt like it was running out of gas, and now, yeah. Jaffe also criticized the game's setting and characters, arguing that it no longer resembles what he considers a traditional God of War experience. Uh, quote, "This is not God of War. I don't know what the fuck this is. This is like some fantasy novel," he said. "If they had taken God of War off the title and you didn't know the God of War story and there wasn't Kratos, it was just a story about this goddess who dies, you would not be talking about this game." Former PlayStation developer fears God of War has now lost its identity, noting how Faye appears to shift away from the Greek mythology that has defined the series for decades. Hey, Jaffe, God of War 2018 and Ragnarok were set in Norse mythology, so it had been away from the Greek mythology for quite some time. I mean, 2018, hello, it's 2026. We're 2 years away from that game being 10 years old. That's simple math, my brother. I don't know what the fuck Jaffe's talking about. He goes on to say, quote, "You've lost the gore and the violence that made the first game. You've lost the character. You already lost after 2018 because he changed so much that he wasn't Kratos anymore. And now you've lost the identifiable mythology of it, and you've lost me with the cube and the little Disney character at the beginning," he said. To be fair, again, I think the cube is a weird thing. I'm not gonna lie. A talking cube accompanying you on a journey. Now at some point in the game, um, they're going to tell us what this cube's backstory is. I'm almost certain that we will find out because Faye's gonna be like, "What is your fucking deal? Who are you? What's your backstory? How'd you get here? How did you become a cube?" You're talking, so I assume at some point you probably had a body or something like that. Um, but I think they have to explain that. If they just let you play this whole game and you don't find out how this person or whatever it was became a cube, then that would be a disservice to the players and the fans. Um, I don't know. Anyway, I'll probably play it for the stream, but if it wasn't for that, I have no interest in playing that game. I think it looks dull, repetitive, been there, done that. It looks like Forspoken. It's got that flavor to it, and it feels very uninspired. Jaffe later clarified his comments in two tweets on June 3rd, stating his remarks have zero to do with the culture wars. "I remain the most progressive guy you know." Just a note, Jaffe, if you have to tell us you're the most progressive guy that we know, you're not the most progressive guy that we know. I'm just saying. My issues are specific to the trailer show yesterday. Thanks. Um, excuse me. His post prompted a question from a user asking him to explain his comments on Deborah Ann Woll's appearance, specifically where he claimed she is really pretty, but she doesn't have to be a cover model. In response, Jaffe argued that LaFay should look less realistic and more glamorous since the game is a power fantasy. What in the entire fuck? His exact tweet was, "Realistic representation of women in media is important and needed 100, but God of War and Wolverine, for that matter, are power fantasy, aspirational pulp comic stories. At least I feel they should be. So just like I want Kratos to be a badass motherfucker and the guy you wish you. Realistic representation of women in media, blah blah blah. Um, where does he go from there? Baddest motherfucker guy the guy you wish you could be. Other than the part where he's insane, I feel the same about women in the series. Taking a beautiful actress and making her less glam doesn't make your title more serious and mature and grounded. It just makes it look like, in my opinion, you don't understand what is special about the franchise." Jaffe, there was no makeup in Norse mythology as far as we know. I'm sure they may have used something to put on their face. Who knows? The same way they put like war paint on and shit like that. But I'd almost have to imagine that there was no makeup in the Norse realms. Um, he can say he's the most progressive guy in the world. It doesn't fucking sound like that. But to be completely honest, we're talking about David fucking Jaffe here. And he has never come off like the most progressive guy in the world. He always says some really slick shit. Now, to add to this, the Wolverine thing is very fun because everybody's freaking out that Jean Grey showed up in the Wolverine gameplay that we saw yesterday. Oh, God, another woke female character. And that's where I stopped. I was like, hold the fucking phone. Y'all are complaining that Jean Grey, the object of Logan's affection, who, of course, is married to Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, showed up in a Wolverine game. It's almost like these characters have never existed within the same realm, even though they were both members of the X-Men Blue Team. I'm pretty sure they were both on Blue Team. I don't know. I'd have to go back and check. How the fuck did you come to this conclusion? Another woke female protagonist. Jean Grey is not leading the game. The game is literally called Wolverine. We are all very familiar with fucking Wolverine because we've all been reading X-Men comics and watching the X-Men TV show. One of the highest rated shows on Disney Plus within the last 2 years, I would have to imagine was X-Men 97. Oh, I don't have to imagine because we know it was. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, X-Men 97, and/or those rock the fucking house over at Disney Plus. Jean Grey showing up in that game when Wolverine is the main protagonist is not that big of a deal. I don't know what people are fucking talking about. Power fantasy? What are you talking about, Jaffe? Have you never read an X-Men comic book? As far as God of War, if you wanna say what you say, then fuck it, so be it. You actually created the character and you created the series, so I will give you a little bit of a landing strip there. However, I'm going to tell you this, no, you do not sound like a progressive guy. You just don't. And the crazy thing is I actually like David Jaffe. I love that he got Colin Moriarty to open up about the split from Kinda Funny. That was very important to me because I consume a lot of Kinda Funny content. I consumed a lot then, I still consume a lot. I did not choose a side. I remember walking into GameStop to buy a game, and the guy was like, do you what are you watching?" I was just like, "Oh, this, that, and the third." He's like, "Whose side do you take in the Greg and Colin split?" And I'm like, "I didn't take a side." He's like, "I don't know, Greg really threw Colin under the bus." I don't know those gentlemen. The only thing I know is that Greg was a student at the University of Missouri, and I am also a student at the University of Missouri. That's all I fucking know. I don't know anything about Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty as people. When Colin launched his Patreon, Colin's Last Stand, the first thing I did was go ahead and subscribe, went over to his YouTube, went to his podcast channels, all of that, and subscribed everywhere. I still subscribe to both. It is possible to be fans of both. Just like I keep telling people, y'all want to keep arguing about Drake versus Kendrick versus Cole. I literally went into my iTunes purchase and showed everybody the purchase of GNX, the purchase of the Fall Off, and the purchase of Iceman. It is okay to be a fan of all three. It's also okay to call people out for their stupid takes. And I'm sorry, Jackie, this is a stupid fucking take. The one thing that I will say that is strange about the game, I've already said, the cube. How? They've got to explain how somebody who at some point probably was a person or something or a god, because you're an everyone, at some point was a person, I would assume. That's all I'm saying. All this extra shit, mom of war, god of woke, and like, bro, come the fuck on. And again, I'm going to say this. I said this on the weekend game, and I'm going to say it here, ladies. Every time a guy tweets some shit like this and you see it, I want you to stop and think about the fact that you are letting some of these men lay in beds with you and do things to you in a sexual manner. You are cooking for these idiots and cleaning up behind these idiots, and you need to have better for yourself because this is absolutely fucking crazy. I guess I consider myself a feminist because I have a daughter. Got sisters, nieces, my mother's still alive, grandmother's still alive, cousins, aunties, all that stuff. There's women all around my life. That does not make me soft for caring about women's rights. And it does not make me woke, which again, y'all co-opted that word because that's not what the fuck it meant when we started saying woke. Y'all co-opted that word and to make it something where y- y'all look at woke the same way y'all look at DEI woke bullshit. Guess what? Black people ain't going nowhere, buddy. Hispanic people ain't going nowhere, buddy. Women aren't going anywhere, buddy. Trans people are not going anywhere. Indigenous people are not going anywhere. Y'all built an entire country off of the backs of all of us people, and you tell us that we need to quiet down and we don't deserve representation in games. That is absolutely fucking insane. And I'm not saying David Jaffe is saying that, but there are people who are part of this beard neck brigade that are saying things like that. Shut the entire fuck up. Nobody wants to hear this. Point blank, period. Anyway, that's my time. I'm going to end this like I end everything else. Believe in yourself first and foremost, because if you don't believe in yourself, of course, nobody else will believe in you. As always, my name is Derrick Lamon Jackson, and that is my time. Y'all have a good one. See you around.